EastEnders confirms brutal stabbing in dark drug plot. One resident's life hangs in the balance. EastEnders has teased a shocking twist for next week, as one Albert Square resident ends up fighting for their life after chaos erupts at the drugs den, and a stabbing takes place. While locals are still shaken by the recent turmoil at Kojo Asari's flat, things take an even darker turn when a violent confrontation spirals into tragedy. But who ends up wounded, and can they survive the aftermath? The stabbing will send shockwaves through Walford, affecting far more people than just the victim, a show insider revealed. Anyone who assumed the fallout from Kojo and Harry's situation was finished is about to be proven very wrong. The shocking attack unfolds as tensions continue to ripple through the square, following several explosive discoveries. Ravi returns home after being cleared by the police, only for his loyal partner Priya to lash out at Harry, accusing him of lying about Ravi's role in the drug operation. However, Priya is stunned when Nicola insists that Ravi was, in fact, responsible all along. Furious and heartbroken, Priya tears into Ravi for breaking his promise to change his ways, before throwing him out of the house. Meanwhile, Junior and George do their best to comfort a shaken Kojo, who's desperate to get back to normal life in his flat. But normality seems like a distant dream for everyone involved. The real chaos begins when Okie sneaks back into the square, our source teased. He first approaches Ravi for help, but soon switches tactics when things don't go his way. When Kojo manages to slip away and return to his flat, Okie tracks him down and confronts him, demanding to know what he told the police. Okie then forces Kojo to message Harry, who's been struggling with withdrawal and is looking to score drugs. The unexpected text makes Harry stop in his tracks, and he rushes to the flat to see Kojo. But when he arrives, Harry is horrified to see Okie waving a knife at his friend. As he tries to intervene, a struggle breaks out, and Harry accidentally stabs Okie during the chaos. Kojo flees the flat while Harry and Okie continue fighting, our insider added. He runs into Teddy, who's horrified by what he hears, and heads straight for the scene. At the same time, both George and Nicola learn of the unfolding drama and rush to find out what's happening. But as the chaos reaches its peak, one question remains. Will Okie survive his injuries, or has the square just witnessed another tragedy? EastEnders Vicky finds support from a surprising ally after lashing out at Child. Last month's shocking EastEnders episodes showed Joel's disturbing misogyny reach horrifying new heights when he viciously attacked Vicky in their kitchen, leaving her for dead. In the aftermath, Joel turned to his friend Tommy Moon for help. Tommy initially hid him in the Slater family garage, but eventually handed him over to the police after realizing how violent Joel's actions had been. With Joel now behind bars, Vicky has ended things with his father, Ross Marshall, and is trying to rebuild her life, though she remains deeply affected by the trauma. Meanwhile, Tommy has been struggling with guilt over sheltering Joel. When he returns to school, classmates cruelly label him an incel, drawing comparisons to Joel's twisted behavior. Next week, Denzel Danes and Nugget Gulati continue to mock him, but Amy Mitchell is taken aback when Vicky unexpectedly steps in to defend Tommy. Vicky soon discovers the truth, that Tommy hid Joel for hours after the attack, and races to the Vic to confront him. Cat Moon steps in to defuse the situation, and Vicky is stunned when Cat actually shows her empathy instead of anger. Fans will recall that Vicky's relationship with the Slater Moon clan has been rocky, especially after several heated clashes with Zoe Slater over a recent death and the lies surrounding her son's paternity. Could this surprising show of support mark a turning point for Vicky and the Slaters? Later in the week, the depth of Vicky's trauma becomes clear during a night out with Kathy Beale. When she spots a man harassing a young woman, painful memories flood back. She rushes home, where she finally lets her emotions spill over, breaking down in tears as she struggles to cope with everything she's endured. EastEnders fans figure out the shocking truth about Zoe Slater after emotional twist. EastEnders fans believe they've finally pieced together the mystery surrounding Zoe Slater's ongoing nightmare, and their theory could completely change how viewers see her storyline. Since making her dramatic return to Walford earlier this year, Zoe has been caught up in a chilling chain of events that has left her frightened and confused. From sinister VHS tapes being left on her doorstep and photos of her face being vandalized, to the disappearance of her beloved cat and the horrifying moment she came face to face with an intruder in her home, Zoe has become convinced that someone is out to destroy her. Despite her desperate pleas for help, even her own mother, Cat Moon, has begun to question whether Zoe's paranoia is justified. But while many residents think she's losing her grip on reality, some EastEnders fans believe the real story could be even more heartbreaking than anyone expected. Across social media, a growing number of viewers are now convinced that Zoe may unknowingly be tormenting herself. According to fan theories, she could be behind the terrifying incidents, either subconsciously, as a result of serious psychological distress, or deliberately, as a way of seeking attention and comfort from those around her. One fan posted, "I'm certain Zoe is her own stalker. She's the one sending the tapes and hiding her cat to make it look like she's being targeted." Another wrote, "It's been obvious for weeks that she's doing all of this herself." A third added, "I said from the beginning that Zoe damaged that first photo. It was all her." Others believe the storyline might be leading to an important mental health revelation. "Zoe clearly needs help," one viewer commented. "She's spiraling and creating these situations without even realizing it." Another added, "I think she's doing it all for attention because she feels invisible." However, not everyone is convinced by the Zoe is her own stalker theory. A number of fans are still suspicious that someone else might be behind the campaign of terror, and most fingers are now pointing toward Anthony Truman. "Anthony is acting really weird," one fan observed. "I think he's the one scaring Zoe. There's something very off about him." Another commented, "If Anthony turns out to be the stalker, it's a huge twist. It would totally change the way we see his character." A third fan noted, "He was only supposed to return for the wedding, yet he's still hanging around every time something bad happens to Zoe. That can't be a coincidence." The speculation shows no signs of slowing down, with more viewers weighing in daily. Some are convinced Zoe's fragile mental state is at the heart of the story, while others insist that someone sinister is manipulating her from the shadows. Whatever the truth, it's clear that Zoe's haunting storyline has captured the full attention of EastEnders fans, leaving them anxiously wondering whether she's truly a victim of a dangerous stalker, or if the greatest danger is coming from within her own mind. EastEnders airs Mondays to Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. on BBC One and BBC iPlayer.